In the sticks of Odom County, Kentucky, a guy named Cash is just trying to keep his head down and live a quiet life. He's crashing in a small shack on a farm that used to belong to his late sister, Rachel. Now, Cash ain't no angel. He used to be a heavy hitter, an enforcer for a local outfit. But he's trying to go straight now, spending his days doing hard labor and working the land. He's got this nasty scar on his right hand, all burned up, which was the literal price he had to pay to walk away from that life of violence. Even though he's trying to move on, the past keeps clawing at him, and he's still torn up over his sister Rachel checking out from an overdose. He keeps himself busy with the farm work and the cows just to keep the demons at bay. One Sunday morning, Cash gets up at the crack of dawn and gets his workout in. After he's done breaking a sweat, he hops on his dirt bike and rides over to the main house on the property. That's where his brother-in-law, Finney, and his teenage niece, Savannah, are living. He walks in and finds Savannah with her nose in some of her mother's old books. The kid's sharp, real smart, and Cash has a little back and forth with her before he goes to check on Finney. He finds Finney passed out cold, surrounded by old photos of Rachel. The guy's been taking it real hard since his wife passed, hid in the bottle way too much to drown his sorrows. Cash finally shakes him awake so they can get started on the morning chores. The three of them head out to the fields to feed the animal. It's quiet out there, everyone just thinking about Rachel. All of a sudden, Savannah notices their pregnant mare is going into labor. The guys rush over to the stable because the horse is having a real rough time of it. Finney steps up, takes charge of the situation, and manages to bring the foal into the world safe and sound.
Yeah, she precious little thing.
Just think most people still sleeping on a Sunday.
They're lost.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family.
After the horse is settled, Cash and Finney talk about how Rachel would have been real proud of how Finney handled things. Then, Cash and Savannah get ready to head out to church. Finney says he's gonna sit this one out and stay at the farm, but he promises he'll meet him later at the diner for some grub. Savannah's a bit bummed out that her old man ain't coming, but she knows he just misses her mom something awful. Over at the church, Pastor Wilder is giving a sermon about fresh starts and finding redemption. Wilder's been through the ringer himself. He used to run with the same criminal element as Cash back in the day. Him and Cash got a connection because of their history, and they both got those same scars on their hands. While they're talking, Savannah shows the pastor a pocket knife Cash gave her. Wilder pulls Cash aside and suggests he take Finney out hunting to help the guy clear his head.
Your uncle's a prickly bastard.
Yeah, she's a regular Dr. Bell.
After the service, Cash and Savannah head over to the diner to wait for Finney. They order his favorite meal, but the guy's a no-show. Cash gets up from the table to give him a ring and see what's the holdup. While he's gone, two goons from the local gang, guys they call the Buck and the Doe, walk up and start giving Savannah a hard time. They're being real punks, making a scene in the middle of the diner. Cash comes back and recognizes these mugs immediately from his old crew. He keeps his cool but he's firm, telling Savannah to go grab a dessert while he handles the situation. He knows right then and there that his past is knocking on the door and it's gonna be trouble for his family.
Sit down.
What do you want?
Big Cat does. Big Cat got something to say to you. About your farm.
About my farm? What about it?
He puts two and two together and realizes Finney's disappearance and these two clowns showing up are connected to something much bigger. When Cash and Savannah get back to the ranch, they find Finney hammered, dancing around to some loud music. Cash pulls him aside and gets in his face about what's going on. It turns out Finney owes a boatload of cash to Big Cat, the woman who runs the whole criminal racket in the county. Finney fesses up, calling himself a drunken dumbass for making a desperate play to try and save the farm. The two of them get into a real shouting match over the debt and the danger they're in. Cash is worried that by dealing with Big Cat, Finney's brought a world of hurt down on him that they can't just walk away from. But eventually, Cash cools off and tells Finney he'll figure something out. He tells Finney to lay off the booze and says they're gonna follow the pastor's advice and go hunting with Savannah the next day.
You need to dry out. Quit hanging around the house. Go home. Take Savannah. She wants to go with you.
All I'm in the mood to shoot is bourbon. I'll do it outside.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Big Cat's operation is catching some heat. These two guys, Reggie and Harlan, are scouting her place, planning to rip off her meth lab. But they blow it. Reggie gets his leg caught in a trap and gets mangled. Harlan tries to make a break for it, but Big Cat's hitters snatch him up quick. It just goes to show you that Big Cat don't play when it comes to her turf. Realizing how deep in the hole Finney is, Cash decides he's got to do something to protect the family legacy. First, he heads down to the law firm to talk to Zeke, who happens to be Big Cat's son. Cash is hoping he can just find out the exact number Finney owes and pay it off to end the whole thing. But Zeke tells him it ain't that simple. He makes it clear that the kind of debt Finney ran up isn't the kind you just settle with a check.
I'm here to find out what Finney owes.
I'm sorry, Cash. You seem to be even if you had the money. It's settled. Until then, you don't own the ranch. Is there anything else I can do for you?
While Cash is trying to play it smart in town, a world of hurt arrives at the farm. The Buck, the Doe, and a few of their low-life associates ambush Finney and Savannah right there at the ranch. They were sent by Big Cat to deliver a little message about that unpaid debt. The crew surrounds Finney and starts working him over, giving him a real beatdown while Savannah has to watch the whole nightmare unfold. The kid can't just stand there and watch her old man get pulverized, so she bolts to her room and grabs that hunting knife Cash gave her. She tries to jump in and even manages to open up a gash on one of the goons' faces. But she's just a kid, and they snatch her up quick. Cash rolls up to the ranch right after the punks take off and sees the carnage. He's spooked to his core and hustles Finney and Savannah inside to patch him up.
I caught one of them.
Which one?
The one that's always giggling.
I need you to look after your dad, okay? I'll be back in a couple of hours.
Hoping to handle this the right way, Cash hits up the sheriff's station to file a report. He talks to Sheriff Hollister and Deputy Duke, laying out the whole story and asking for some backup to keep his family safe. After spending the whole day trying to find a legal way to protect Rachel's place without catching a case, Cash realizes nobody's coming to save him. He knows he's got to walk straight into the lion's den and face Big Cat himself. At the mansion, Big Cat greets Cash like an old pal and confirms what he already suspected. It was never really about the money. She tells him she's building a real empire and she needs a pro like him to make things happen fast. She even admits she misses having him around because he knows how to be a gentleman while he's cracking skulls. Then she drops the hammer. If Cash doesn't come back to work for her, she's gonna put Finney in the ground. Big Cat offers him a deal: do 3 jobs for her, and she'll call it even on Finney's debt and leave the ranch alone. Since he's got 0 other options to save his kin, Cash breaks his word about staying clean and agrees to go back to the dark side.
3 jobs of my choosing to pay back the debt. You can take the silver or you can take the lead.
I'll do this. That's to pay off a debt.
No need to be complicated.
On the ride back, he ain't stupid. He knows Big Cat isn't the type to just let a guy go, so he starts cooking up a plan B just in case she tries to screw him over. Back at the house, Cash finds Finney sipping by the fire. They have a heart-to-heart about Rachel and the mess they're in, and Cash gives him his word that he's gonna look out for him.
I'm so tired of drinking. I'll be there for you, whatever way I can.
How much trouble are we in? What can I do?
I just want you to stay focused on what matters.
Meanwhile, over at her place, Big Cat is busy torturing Harlan, that guy they caught snooping. She chops off his thumbs just to make a point, then kicks him loose so he can lead her hitters straight to the rest of his crew. In the middle of the night, Cash gets the call for job number 1. He hooks up with the Buck, and they tail Harlan to a hideout where his gang is planning to hit Big Cat. Once they get the lay of the land, the Buck calls in the cavalry to ambush the place before the other guys can even get their boots on. The Doe tells Cash to watch the back door and hands him a piece for the job. As the rest of the crew kicks in the front door to start the massacre, Cash spots a guy trying to sneak out the back. He goes to pull the trigger, but, surprise, surprise, the gun ain't loaded. It was a setup or a test. Thinking fast, Cash tackles the guy and handles him with his bare hands. The Doe shows up a second later and executes the guy Cash just tackled, right there on the spot.
You just passed the shit test.
Cash gets back to the farm at sunrise and sees Finney dumping all the booze down the drain. Seeing his brother-in-law actually trying to dry out gives Cash a little spark of hope. Even though he's been up all night doing dirt, Cash sticks to his word and takes Finney and Savannah out hunting. While they're in the woods, Savannah tells him she can handle herself, but the guys tell her to stay out of the street business. Later on, Cash meets up with Pastor Wilder to talk about the farm. Wilder knows what it's like trying to leave the life behind, and he tells Cash not to let the darkness swallow him up again. They talk about the old days when Cash, Finney, and Rachel were all deep in the drug game together. They look at the scars on their right hands, the red right hand which they always saw as their ticket to freedom.
What was it drew you out?
I had a revelation, pure and simple.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic to me.
Hell, we got the scars to prove it.
A few days later, the phone rings for job number 2. Cash gets paired up with a guy named Wes to move a big shipment of weight. They meet up with another associate named Lazarus, who's their connect. What Lazarus doesn't know is that Big Cat found out he's been skimming off the top, and the real point of this trip is to make sure Lazarus never comes home. As the second job gets rolling, Cash and Wes meet up with Lazarus to move that mountain of weight. Lazarus is all smiles, greeting the boys and yapping away about how much bread they're gonna make on this deal. But Wes pulls Cash aside and gives him the lowdown. Lazarus ain't supposed to make it back from this trip. Big Cat wants him clipped because the guy was caught making side deals behind her back. Wes is shaken like a leaf, real worked up about having to whop a guy he knows. So Cash tells him to keep his head and just get it over with quick and clean. The three of them get to the drop-off spot and start hauling the product out of the ride. Lazarus starts picking up on the vibe and realizes something is way off. He starts panicking, and before things can get even messier, a jumpy Wes pulls the trigger and puts Lazarus down for the count before the buyers even show their faces. Then Wes sees a text pop up on Lazarus's phone. The buyers are 15 minutes out. Cash takes the reins, telling Wes to stop spazzing out so they can handle the business. When the other crew rolls up, they're pissed because Lazarus is nowhere to be found. Cash tries to smooth things over to keep the deal from going south, but these guys are smelling a rat. Even though Cash is trying his best to avoid a blowout, the whole thing turns into a lead fest. A nasty gunfight breaks out, and most of the buy-in crew gets wiped out right there. The only one left standing is this young rookie dealer who's looking like he's about to lose it. Cash stops his guys from punching the kid's ticket and tells the rookie to just take the drugs and go live a quiet life. The trade gets finished up, the kid takes the work, and Cash and Wes take the briefcase full of dead president. Finney rolls up in his truck to help him move the cash and dump Lazarus's body. To wrap it all up, Cash torches the getaway car to make sure there ain't no evidence linking him to the hit. That's 2 jobs down, 1 to go. Later on, while Cash and Finney are hosing down the truck to get rid of the mess, Finney says what they're both thinking. Big Cat is never gonna let him walk. Cash lets him in on a secret. He's got a backup plan. He sets up a sit-down with Deputy Duke and offers to be an undercover snitch to help the law nail Big Cat for good. Duke is all in, promising to talk to the DA to see exactly what kind of paper they need to put her away. The two of them shake on it, keeping the whole thing on the hush-hush.
Breathe. Relax. Bottom left corner.
I can be snug or looser.
Slow it all down, Savannah.
For God, family, survival.
Team effort. There you go.
Around the same time, Duke pulls over some broad for lead foot in it and finds a car loaded with stash. He arrests her and leaves a message for Cash, all hyped up that they finally got a lead on Big Cat's operation. That same night, just as Cash is listening to the voicemail, the Buck and the Doe show up at his shack and tell him he's coming with him. They haul him over to Big Cat's mansion, which is packed with her whole crew for a big shot dinner. Big Cat raises a glass to her kid, Zeke, and to Cash for coming home to the family.
In front of all these reprobates, that I love you. To my baby boy, Zeke. Cash. Worked for me back in the day. Things didn't go so well. But I thought I'd give you another chance to. I got big plans. Greenback dollars. You want out of my crew.
The mood gets real dark real fast when Big Cat announces the after-dinner show. She wheels out Deputy Duke, who's been beat to a pulp and tied to a chair. Big Cat lets everyone know she found out the deputy was trying to rat him out. Cash is frozen, hoping his face don't give him away, wondering how the lawman got grabbed and how the hell he's gonna get him out of this. The Buck and the Doe just keep wailing on Duke while everyone else just watches.
I'm begging you, please.
But that's not enough for me.
No.
Big Cat then asks who wants the honor of finishing the rat. Cash realizes the only mercy he can give Duke is a quick end. He steps up and suggests taking the guy out to the woods to do it right, but Big Cat ain't having it. She ignores him and just zips Duke's throat open with a blade right there in the room. Then she looks at Cash and tells him to go dump the trash.
Take him out back. Then you can bury what's left.
After the killing, Cash tells Big Cat he's done his time and he's out, but she gets right in his face. She tells him he ain't done until she says he's done. That night, Cash realizes his plan A just went up in smoke and that the only way to talk to a snake like Big Cat is with a gun. He decides it's time for an all-out war. He starts scouting her farms and her warehouses, taking notes and getting the lay of the land so he can burn her whole world down. After the hit on the deputy, Big Cat's crew starts tossing the lawman's personal effects to see what else he was hiding. The Buck gets his hands on the deputy's phone and finds the whole recorded setup between the officer and Cash. He brings the proof straight to Big Cat, and she realizes right then that Cash has been playing her for a sucker. She's done playing games and officially declares open season on Cash and his whole family. The next morning, Finney wakes up with a clear head, still staying off the sauce. It's Sunday, and he's fixing to head to church for the first time since they put Rachel in the ground. Before he can head out, Cash calls him up sounding real wired, explaining he's busy documenting every piece of Big Cat's operation. Cash tells him to stay out of it and just take Savannah to the service like they planned.
You look great.
Oh, thank you. It's a little dusty.
While Cash is spending his Sunday scouting Big Cat's farms and taking photos of the weight, Finney and Savannah show up at the chapel. Pastor Wilder is floored to see Finney in the pews and gives a real heavy sermon about the weight of guilt and how anger can eat a man alive. The message hits Finney right where he lives, and he's got to step outside just to catch his breath. Wilder and Savannah follow him out to let him know he ain't alone in this.
I love you.
After the sermon wraps up, Finney pulls Savannah aside and gives her a real deal apology. He fesses up to how he let his grief turn him into a ghost and how he let her down as a father. Savannah doesn't even hesitate. She hugs him and lets him know they're good. Pastor Wilder sticks his head in, too, telling Finney that the whole congregation has his back from here on out. Just as the family is about to head over to the diner for some lunch, Big Cat's hitters roll into the church lot like they own the place. They start demanding to know where Cash is and start chasing Finney and Savannah through the crowd. The punks eventually separate them and start giving Finney a brutal beatdown right in front of everyone. They grab Savannah, too, and it's looking real ugly. Wilder sees the carnage and realizes his man of God routine ain't gonna cut it today. He flips the switch back to his old self and gets violent for a hot minute to snatch Savannah back from the goons. The hitters realize they're outnumbered by the crowd and take off, but the damage is already done. Finney's in real bad shape, and they rush him to the ER. By the time Cash skids into the hospital, it's too late. Finney's heart gave out, and he's gone.
I'll be right outside if you need me.
Cash is dying inside, but he keeps his game face on so he can be there for Savannah. He tells Pastor Wilder to take the kid and go to ground while he goes out to settle the score. Cash tails the dough all the way to a backwoods farm and calls the guy out for a showdown. After a real nasty scrap, Cash puts the dough in the dirt, but he takes a heavy hit to the head and blackout right there on the grass. While Cash is out cold, the sheriff and Big Cat show up at the scene. It turns out Sheriff Hollister has been on Big Cat's payroll the whole time, and they start cleaning up the mess so the public don't get wise. Meanwhile, the Buck and his crew kick in Pastor Wilder's door, looking for Savannah. They start working the pastor over when he won't talk, hoping to beat the location out of him. Savannah's hiding close by and hears the pastor getting tortured because of her. She can't take it, so she steps out and gives herself up just to make him stop.
Smart girl. Now you tell Cash.
The crew hauls her off, telling Wilder to send a message to Cash. Big Cat wants a trade, his life for the girls. When Cash finally makes it back to the pastor's place, he finds Wilder bloodied up but ready for a fight. The two of them decide right then that if they're gonna save Savannah, they gotta hit Big Cat where it hurts most, her own son.
I splashed some water on my face.
Wilder and Cash start cooking up a plan to snatch Savannah back by going after the only thing Big Cat actually gives a damn about. They decide to kidnap Zeke right in the middle of the day from his law office, planning to use the guy as a human bargaining chip for a prisoner swap. Cash gets in touch with Big Cat and tells her to meet him at the rock plant if she ever wants to see her boy again. While Big Cat tells her goon West to keep an eye on Savannah, she gets ready to head out and get her kid back. The swap is set up with Wilder behind the wheel and Zeke strapped to the hood of the car like a hood ornament so nobody starts shooting. While the distraction is going down at the meet, Cash sneaks into the back of Big Cat's mansion like a ghost. Inside the house, Savannah is tied up near the fireplace. In a real like uncle, like niece moment, she uses the heat and the fireplace tools, the same kind of iron that scarred her uncle years ago, to slowly burn through her ropes.
We can make the exchange at the same time.
And I know you ain't tailing me.
Go get her. When Zeke's clear, take him out.
Before the trade can even get moving, Savannah catches him slipping and breaks free. She gets her hands on a shotgun and blasts Wes, the guy watching her, which sends the whole estate into a panic. That one gunshot is like a starter pistol, and the meeting at the rock plant turns into a total bloodbath. A massive shootout kicks off between Big Cat's hitters and the team of Cash and Wilder. While the lead is flying, Zeke manages to wiggle free from the car and tries to make a break for the trees. But the guy ain't lucky, he catches a stray bullet in the crossfire. As he's limping deeper into the woods, Big Cat's own guard dogs, the ones she trained to be killers, turn on him and rip him apart. Wilder takes a nasty hit during the fight and passes out from the pain. Inside the big house, Savannah is playing a deadly game of hide and seek with the buck. She's keeping her cool, firing back at him whenever she gets a clear shot. Eventually, Cash intercepts the chase and steps in to handle the buck himself. After both of them click empty on their heaters, they go at it with their bare hands in a real scrap. Cash finally gets the upper hand and shanks the buck until he stops moving. Big Cat finds what's left of her son out in the woods and she completely loses it. She marches into the mansion and catches Savannah trying to help a bleeding Cash to his feet. Big Cat starts spraying the room, seriously wounding Cash and pinning them both down. Thinking he's punched his last ticket, Cash tells Savannah she's got to jump out the window and run as fast as she can while he holds the line. Savannah looks like she's gonna bail, but there's no way she's leaving her uncle behind to die. As Big Cat stands over Cash with a rifle, telling him she's gonna hunt the kid down no matter where she goes, Savannah sneaks back into the room like a shadow. She catches Big Cat from behind and drives a blade right into her skull, ending the reign of the woman who ran the county into the ground. A few months later, things finally start looking up for the neighborhood. Pastor Wilder pulls through and gets back to the pulpit, preaching to his flock like nothing happened. Savannah and Cash stay put at the ranch, looking out for each other and keeping the place running. You see him out there tending to the animals in the quiet, finally done with the life and the debts of the past.